Tag TV and Tag Radio be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Did you know that companies providing a service must have an auditor's examination performed to certify controls over information technology and related processes? That's right. In today's global economy, service organizations or service providers must demonstrate that they have adequate controls and safeguards when they host or process data belonging to their customers, as well as on the process of reporting on the effectiveness of internal controls over financial reporting. Greetings, everyone. It's Thursday, March 15, 2011, and this is a special Premier Member Showcase edition of Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella, SSAE number 16, Statements on Standards for Attestation Engagements, or SAS number 70, Statement on Auditing Standards. Sound complicated? Well, that's why today's Tech Talk is so important for both service providers and the clients that rely on them, and why Tino Tech Talks Provider Assurance would tag Premier Member CPA firm Habif, Arogeti Wynne. Up to the Tech Talk, Daniel Schroeder, Partner in Charge, HA&W, for the firm's IT audit and assurance service practice. Dan has over 20 years' experience in IT risk management functions and over 9 years leading IT audit and assurance functions at leading CPA firms. Actively involved in delivery and practice development, Dan's area of experience spans the New Services Organization Control Reporting Standards, replacing SAS 70. Dan serves as chairman of the AICPA IT Executive Committee and is a frequent speaker and author on IT risk management, service organization control reporting, IT governance, technology risk management, and financial IT auditing on this special Premier Member Showcase featuring HA&W as Tino Tech Talks with Partner in Charge Daniel Schroeder.
Dan, thanks for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Tino, my pleasure to join you.
Let's jump right in. SAS 70, most people at least know that name, and it's commonly used, of course, to report for technology service providers to provide assurance to their clients and prospects. But it's changing, as I understand it. Why is it changing, and in what ways is it changing?
Very significant changes, Tino. Thank you. Yes, it's changing to a standard called SSAE 16. I'll explain what those terms mean in a minute. Changing effective June 15th of 2011. SAS 70 has been around since 1992. And the report was originally designed, I guess it's always been designed, to report on matters from a service organization that have relevancy to their users of that service organization's financial audit process. So it's been out there for a long period of time associated with just specifically that. What's happened a lot, Tino, over the past 15 or more years, and particularly the last several years post-Sarbanes-Oxley, is the report's been used for a whole lot of purposes other than what it was supposed to be used for. What SSA 16 does is it's going to focus that report much more on the financial reporting matters or the implications of the service organization's output that are relevant to their users' financial reporting. And as well, it aligns with international standards, so it's going to become have more global applicability. And from moving from what was SAS, that is Statement of Audit Standards, to SSAE 16, which is Statement of Standards of Attestation Engagements. I realize that's a mouthful. But it moves from what is known as audit to attestation. And by moving to attestation, it's now going to call for management to provide a detailed assertion of the services that are provided, as well as all the controls that are in place to mitigate any risk that those services may represent to their users.
So that is very new. And is that something that everyone is going to have to start doing starting this June, I think you said? Or are there some other options that our listeners can explore?
Well, there certainly are some other options, and interestingly enough, over the past several years, a lot of people really haven't known of or thought of other alternatives to SAS 70. So too often times it's been used as a sort of a silver bullet for service organization risk. So more and more as we get into economy based upon technology where more and more things are outsourced, a lot more innovative things are coming online with the cloud. Increasingly you have a scenario where a user or a prospective user of a technology service needs to know how they can trust that service provider. So with SAS 70 or now SSA 16, it addresses the trust question really from the perspective, or only from the perspective of the output that's relevant for financial audit purposes. Obviously, with the range of services we're talking about, there's a whole array of output and services that have risk that are beyond financial. And so we call those operational or compliance-related risk. And with the move to SSA 16, we're now going to brand that. The AICPA is branding that as part of what's known as the Service Organization Control, or SOC reporting framework. Now, under the SOC reporting framework, what we've had is SSA 16 will be known as an SOC1 report. They've come up with two additional reports called SOC2 and SOC3 that deal with this other range of operational or compliance matters. And more specifically, those deal with security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy.
So this makes sense. It sounds like, I guess our listeners are going to be saying, oh my God, is this more work for us, number one? And what do we need to do to be getting ready to adopt to these new reporting standards? So how would you respond? How would you help them out here?
Well, that's a great question. May not be more work. It might be, Tino, in some cases, but oftentimes could be less work because the alternatives under SOC 2 and 3 could be a more specific, a more tailored, refined approach other than what sometimes people were trying to do with SAS 70. So it does, on the surface, when you look at the technical, the words around these various frameworks, it can seem a little bit complicated. But if you do this, I think we've had a lot of companies that if you just step back and if you're a service organization, you say, you know what, if we put ourselves in the shoes of our users or our prospective users, what would they expect to see? What do they need to have from us that would help them get comfortable that we're doing the right sort of things that they need for us to do? Whether it's over financial risk, those would be matters under SOC 1, or some other forms of risk. So if we think about what they would need to have, we think about the risk that we represent, and we think about the controls that they would need to see, and then any form of supporting description of the service that's associated with delivering these, then the service organization is in a good position to determine what reporting approach might make sense. And in going through that thought process, in many cases they're going to find out, you know what, this approach that we've come up with is more pragmatic. It makes more sense for us, and it probably does a better need of providing to our user or prospective user what they need to have from us to answer that trust question.
I have time for one more question, and I think let's just wrap it up by letting our listeners know where they can get more information. I guess I'd say certainly contacting your great firm would be one way to go, and then in addition to that, I'm sure there's places to find more information about this as well. The primary place I would recommend would be to start with the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants.org. So it's AICPA.org. There's a page dedicated to this. It's the SOC page. So you can go there, and certainly you could check out our firm and our page. We've got a lot of information on this, including a white paper and some other materials, and that would be hawcpa.com. Well, that's great. HAW is a great supporter of TAG, your premier members, and we appreciate that, and very involved and engaged, and have been a terrific resource over the years. So, Dan, thanks very much for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Tino, very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.